Around Australia, coastlines are being battered by weather events. On calmer days, along beaches in parts of the country, heavy machinery helps replace thousands of cubic metres of sand each year.
My kids have always had trucks on the beach. My kids have always seen their beach basically dissipating before our eyes, eroding away.
John Dundon has lived beachside for 30 years. At times, the shoreline has looked like this.
We were heartbroken because you could see the erosion and the loss before our eyes. After every storm or high tide, there was erosion that was quantifiable.
The main impacts for coastlines from climate change is sea level rise. So more frequent storms, stronger storms, bigger wave energy. So these are the main threats that shorelines are facing.
Coastal development, the construction of roads and buildings, particularly in urban areas, along with the disappearance of sand dunes, have had an impact on erosion levels too.
We stopped the shoreline from its natural adjustment to the wave climate. We stabilized the shoreline in place.
It has also exacerbated the issue of drift, which sees sand stripped from one part of the shoreline and dumped elsewhere, depending on tidal movements. Using a mix of tidal maps and satellite data, the federal government has been collecting information and charting Australia's coastline for decades. Beaches in every state, including the Northern Territory, have been impacted by erosion, including those close to the New South Wales and Queensland border. When the Tweed Head entrance was extended, sand started piling up on the New South Wales side, depleting supply to Gold Coast's beaches.
So they have to artificially pump the sand from the south of the mouth of the Tweed River back to the other side to just continue the movement of sand.
Sand pumping is one solution. Australian academics are looking to the Dutch as global leaders in coastal defence.
The Netherlands is a low-lying country. Almost 50% of the country is below sea level. And that means if we experience flooding, it is very serious.
Sand nourishment, essentially replacing lost sand, is the country's leading solution. Syed de Vries has worked on the country's mega nourishment experiment, the Zandmotor, 20 million cubic metres of sand deposited on the coast, designed to be eroded over 20 years.
And we're seeing today that the sediment spreads along the coast, compensating for the structural erosion, while at the same time creating a dynamic landscape.
Trucking in quarry sand is another answer. At this Adelaide beach alone, 50,000 cubic metres has been transported as a top-up, and there'll be another delivery this autumn. Seagrass beds provide a natural buffer to wave energy, but river pollution has killed them off in the past. With rising sea levels, academics warn even more intervention will be needed to save Australian beaches, and say sand carting and pumping will have to increase.
It is expensive, it is inconvenient, but it's literally the price we pay for living near the shoreline.
We can't afford to be selfish. We need to take care of our beaches. So we're all interconnected in one way or another, all the way around Australia. We can't afford not to take care of our coast.
With millions of Australians living by the beach, future governments will have to choose what value we place on keeping them sandy. Evelyn Leckie, ABC News.